Yesterday, or actually just a few minutes ago, this is still the same day, I made a video on 3D printed guns and how all the fear mongering that's going on about them, how, oh, they're untraceable and undetectable, how it was just garbage and how it was nothing to worry about, how this is just a tiny little baby step in technology that allows people to do something they've already been allowed to do for decades, even longer, so it wasn't anything to get all upset about. It really isn't much of anything at all at this point in time. But I want to talk about now, I want to talk about the potential of 3D printed technology. Now, you can't print guns now that are actually functional without metal in them, but you don't know about in the future. You might be able to have a polymer that's every bit as strong and durable as metal, some sort of printable material that's every bit as strong, even a metallic printable material. So you might be able to just fully manufacture guns with 3D printers in the future that are perfectly reliable and perfectly dependable and every bit as good as guns that are made traditional ways now. And I think that's a great potential because it would be awesome if you could walk into a gun shop and they could have the machines in the back where you pick out, okay, I want this grip, I want this trigger, I want this size and shape slide, I want these sights. That's what I want. You know, you order it a la carte, your gun basically. And they give you a little ticket and say, come back tomorrow, it'll be manufactured and finished. And you get to pick up the gun you have had made custom to your hand. It could be a new age of custom making guns because it wouldn't cost any more to do a custom gun than it would to print a regular gun. So just do it the way people want it. You basically have a build it yourself, you know, like the Build-A-Bear workshops, except this would be like Build-A-Gat workshops or something. I don't know. But I think that's great potential. Now, a lot of people will say, well, yeah, that might put the gun manufacturers out of business. You know, it might. I don't think that's anything we need to worry about for decades and decades yet, but it might put them out of business. But, you know, most blacksmiths went out of business too, and so did most farriers. And farrier is not a fairy. Farrier is someone who shoots horses. Fairies haven't gone out of business. They're doing quite well for themselves. But I think it's got great potential. Like I said, even if it does put gun manufacturers out of business, you'd still be getting guns. You just wouldn't have these big centralized giant manufacturers anymore, but you'd probably still have those that produce certain things. But you'd have all these tiny manufacturers all over the place. You'd have a manufacturer in every county, city, you know, area making guns for people custom. So I think that has great potential in the future, the far future. Another thing I think is a great potential that is very interesting to me, that might even be in the more near future, is you might have a manufacturer that designs like a body, like a basic elements of a gun. You know, but it's nothing to look at. It's just the basic core working parts of a firearm, both semi-automatic or revolver or whatever. And then you choose a 3D printed sleeve for that gun. If you've ever seen a 5.7, it's kind of got a polymer sleeve all over it. This would just be like the regular gun would be underneath, and then you would just have a decorative cover on your gun that you make custom for that piece. And those pieces will be designed to go inside these covers. You just have a program at home or maybe go to a dealer or wherever and just go like, okay, I bought myself a gun today, and your gun is just this basic looking little shell or the basic looking little machine. And now you say, okay, now I want to decide what I want it to look like. And you could say, well, I want it to look like, you know, the gun from Blade Runner, or maybe I want it to look like the Sandman blasters from Logan's Run, or maybe today I want to look like Han Solo, you know. Or maybe, you know, you could just go just futuristic or any design you want. You could keep it kind of basic, you know, or you could just go wild and have something really futuristic looking. Just you'd have to buy certain types of cores. We'll call them the core. You'd have to buy certain shaped firearm cores to make certain shaped guns. But once you bought the core, you could make multiple different sleeves for it. And I think that would be awesome, especially in a world if open carry becomes more common, which it looks like it might based on some of the Supreme Court rulings. But if we lived in a world where open carry became more common, it would be awesome to be able to have your gun that's like, looks just like my favorite sci-fi movie gun, or looks like my favorite historical gun, or whatever, right on your hip. And, you know, it's a form of expression. You know, you get to carry your gun saying, look, I'm prepared, but also I like Logan's Run, or I like Blade Runner, or whatever. I like sci-fi. So I think 3D printed technology has got an amazing future. None of it's negative. I don't see how people would be fearful of this, because no matter how, you know, someone puts a gun out there, as long as it stays in the right hands. And if someone who's like people they say that are the wrong hands, well, most people are the right hands up until they are the wrong hands. So most crime is committed by people who never committed a crime before. So I'm not really worried about people getting a hold of guns. I'm more worried about people that have guns having reasons to do bad things. But that's that's a totally different video. We won't go to that here. I just don't see anything negative really about the future of 3D printed guns because, we know gun laws do nothing anyway. Even Obama's little study he commissioned at the end of his reign, I wanted to say, but his term said, hey, there's no proof that gun laws ever stop anything. So why would we be so worried about 3D printed guns? Because like I said, all the stuff they tell you to be afraid of is just garbage. And the potential is awesome. Because I know I would love to be able to print a different shell for my gun every week if I wanted to. And I just think the future is very bright in this field. And I think it's going to go great places. But right now, I think we have to worry about people trying to stomp it down because they're afraid of it. So don't give in to fear. Don't give in to ignorance. Don't give in to any of that. Well, I don't want a 3D printed gun, so I'm not going to defend it like the NRA has done. It's not profitable for them to defend it. Fight for it because, like I said, I think it's got some great potential, not just for nerds like me who like sci-fi guns, but for just people who want, okay, I bought the core. Now I can print a gun that actually fits my hand. I've never had a gun that fits my hand before. I can make an impression of my hand, and this machine can print me a grip that is exactly like my hand, and it's perfect for me. So it's just the reality of it is there's no reason for the fear. The potential far outweighs any reason to ever be afraid. This is a baby step towards this type of potential, but it's baby steps worth taking, and I'm glad we're taking them. Now we just have to have everybody defend it.